Hey everyone, ready to take on that metal planer operator interview? I know, interviews can be kind of nerve-wracking, but don't worry.
We've got you covered.
We're going to do a deep dive into all those materials you've got. Those sample interview
The
questions,
career guide.
even some stuff about RoleCatcher's AI.
All of it.
We'll break it all down. So by the end of this, you're going to walk into that interview room feeling like,
Confident?
yeah, like you own the place.
Exactly. It's not just about memorizing answers.
Right.
It's more about, really understanding what the job is about,
Right.
thinking on your feet and showing them, hey,
You're the one.
I'm the one for this. For example, in that career guide,
Yeah.
it mentions the Bureau of Labor Statistics is actually predicting a decline in the number of these jobs.
Oh, wow, really?
It is.
So how do we...
That's interesting, right?
Yeah, how do we help someone stand out then?
Well, you got to be ready for those tough questions.
Yeah.
Show them that you've done your homework. Let's dive into those sample interview questions. You've got that interview guide. Metal planer operator.
Yeah, let's tackle these things head on.
Yeah.
First one, can you explain your experience operating metal planers?
Okay.
Sounds kind of basic, but what are they really getting at here?
They're really listening to how you talk about your experience, not just a list of jobs you've had, but think about the tasks you've done, like setting up the planer,
Right.
adjusting it, measuring the final product. Have you done any basic maintenance?
Yeah,
All those details really help them understand what you can do.
it's about showing those core skills, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw in the career guide, the precision, the attention to detail.
Absolutely.
It's not just what you did, it's how you did it.
Exactly. And they might even ask you something like, tell me about a time you had to make a really precise adjustment. How did you make sure it was accurate?
Okay, so be ready with those stories.
Yeah, have those examples right.
Where your precision was key. Okay, next question. What safety measures do you take when operating a metal planer? We kind of touched on safety before.
Right.
But what's the real message here?
Here, it's about showing them that you're all about safety.
Okay.
For yourself and everyone around you.
Right.
This is where you talk about all that PPE stuff.
Okay.
Your safety glasses, gloves, ear protection.
Got it.
The whole 9 yards. And, the career guide specifically talks about lockout, tag-out procedure.
Oh, yeah, that's huge in manufacturing.
Big one.
Knowing how to de-energize the machine.
Before you do any maintenance.
Yeah, that's critical.
Super important.
All right, question 3 gets a little more technical.
Okay.
How do you determine the correct cutting depth for a metal planer?
This is where they really want to see your technical knowledge. They're checking if you understand how the machine works.
Right.
And how different materials need, different approaches.
And the career guide, it really stresses how important it is to understand those blueprints,
Yes.
the work instructions. Absolutely.
So can you take those instructions
Right.
and translate that to the machine settings?
Exactly. And they might even ask, what are some things you consider when you're choosing the right cutting tool for a job?
Ooh, good one.
Yeah.
So think about, the type of material,
The thickness.
the finish you want,
It all matters.
all those details. Question 4. This is all about problem solving.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever encountered a problem while operating a metal planer? How did you resolve it? I mean, everyone runs into problems.
Right.
Right.
But
So
so- right.
what are they really asking?
It's not about if you've had problems, it's how you handle them.
Okay.
Pick an example where you had a real challenge. And don't be afraid to talk about what went wrong,
Yeah.
but focus on how you figured out what the problem was, the steps you took to fix it, and what you learned from it.
It's a great way to show off those analytical skills.
Absolutely. And they might even ask you, so how do you approach troubleshooting when you don't even know what's causing the problem?
Right. That's a good one.
That's tougher.
It's a step further. Yeah.
It's not just a simple jam.
Exactly.
It's about really systematically figuring it out.
Yeah, your process.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving on to question 5.
Okay.
This one's about how do you ensure the finished product meets specifications?
Quality control.
Yeah, quality control.
Time.
They want to know your process for inspecting everything.
Making sure it's right.
Making the measurements, making sure it's all up to standard.
Exactly.
And speaking of measurements, the career guide mentions all those precision measuring instruments.
Yes.
So be ready to talk about calipers, micrometers, all those tools.
Yeah.
Maybe even mention specific tolerances you've worked with before.
That's a good idea.
Show them you know what you're talking about.
Exactly. It shows that you're really all about accuracy. They could even ask, have you ever had to reject a finished product? What happened, and how did you tell your supervisor?
Oh, that's a good one because it shows your judgment. and your communication skills.
Which does.
Okay, question 6 is about maintenance.
Okay.
How do you maintain the metal planer to ensure it's functioning properly?
So here, you want to talk about being proactive
Mm-hmm.
and understanding how to keep things running smoothly.
And this really ties into that knack for understanding how things work from the career guide.
Absolutely.
It's your chance to show off those mechanical skills.
Yep. And they might ask, tell me about a time you spotted a problem with the planer before it became a big issue.
Yeah, that's good. Shows you're thinking ahead.
Proactive?
Proactive.
Yeah.
Okay, question 7. This one's all about multitasking.
Okay.
How do you prioritize your workload when operating multiple machines?
So a lot of manufacturing places, you're going to be running more than one machine at a time.
Mhm.
This question is all about how organized you are
Mm-hmm.
and how you handle the pressure.
So listener, be ready to share how you stay organized, how you track all those tasks,
Yeah.
and make sure everything gets done.
Efficiently.
Right, efficiently and accurately.
And accurately.
You could even talk about any software or systems you've used.
That's a great example. They might ask, how do you deal with interruptions or when priorities change suddenly while you're running multiple machines?
Because things happen.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be flexible.
Absolutely.
Okay, question 8. Back to those problem-solving skills.
Right.
This one really puts them to the test.
Okay.
How do you troubleshoot machine issues when you are unsure of the cause?
Okay.
They don't want someone who's just going to panic.
Right.
Start flipping switches randomly.
No.
You got to have a system.
Yeah. Think about how you break down the problem. Do you start with the most obvious things?
Mm-hmm.
Do you look at the manual? Do you go online? Have you ever worked with the maintenance people to figure something out?
Those are all good points.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, question 9 brings us back to safety.
All right.
How do you ensure the safety of yourself and others when operating a metal planer?
Now, this might sound like that earlier question.
Yeah.
But this one goes a little deeper.
Okay.
It's not just about what you do to stay safe.
Right.
It's about how you make sure everyone around you is safe too.
Okay, so think about how you communicate those safety procedures.
Encourage people to be safe.
Yeah,
How do you spot potential problems before they become dangerous?
that's where you can show off your leadership skills.
Absolutely. They might ask, have you ever had to stop working because of a safety issue, even if it meant things got delayed? How did you handle that?
That's a tough one.
It is.
But it's about putting safety first.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've covered a lot with these 9 questions.
We have.
But there's more.
There is.
We're going to dive into the career guide, metal planer operator, and see how it can make your answers even better.
Yeah, there's some great insights in there.
And then we'll wrap things up with a look at how RoleCatcher's AI can help you personalize those answers.
Practice.
Yeah, practice and get that winning performance.
Get ready to shine.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We just went through all those interview questions.
9 of them.
9 of them, that's right.
Tough ones.
Yeah, they can be tricky. But now let's switch gears a little
Okay.
and look at that career guide, metal planer operator.
Yeah.
See how it can really help you give those awesome answers.
Yeah, because this guide is packed with good stuff
It is.
that can really make you stand out.
It can.
For example, it talks about different career stages for a metal planer operator.
Right.
So even if you're just starting out, you can still show them you've got potential.
Exactly. Like, let's say you're going for an entry-level job, right? You might not have years and years of experience running the planer by yourself,
Right.
but you can talk about helping out the more experienced operators,
Yeah.
watching what they do.
Learning the ropes.
Learning the ropes, yeah. And you can even tie that back to some of those interview questions we talked about.
Oh, good point.
Like when they ask about problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
You could say, oh, I remember this one time I was working with the senior operator and they showed me how to fix this really tricky problem.
Yeah.
It shows you're eager to learn.
And grow.
And that's what employers want to see.
That you're not just going to stay stagnant.
Exactly.
And speaking of skills, the career guide really emphasizes that continuous learning.
It
It's
does.
so important.
Especially in manufacturing, things are always changing.
New technology.
New materials, new
You
techniques.
got to stay ahead of the game.
You do. And the guide even mentions things like online tutorials, workshops, seminars.
Oh, yeah.
All those are great ways to stay up to date.
You can definitely work that into your answers
Right.
about professional development.
Like if they ask you about your long-term goals, you could say, I'm really committed to learning and growing in this field. I'm always looking for opportunities to improve my skills.
Yeah.
That shows initiative.
It
That
does.
shows you're serious.
The guy also has some good advice if you've already got some experience under your belt.
Right.
Like, it talks about putting together a portfolio.
Of all the cool projects you've worked on.
Yeah, that's a great way to show off your skills.
It is, because they can actually see what you've done.
It's not just you talking about it.
Exactly. Imagine walking into the interview with a tablet and saying, hey, check out this awesome stuff I've made.
This is what I can do.
That's impressive.
And let's not forget about networking.
Oh, networking is huge.
It is. No matter where you are in your career.
Yeah, go to industry events, workshops, trade shows.
Meet people.
Learn what's new.
Yeah, and you could even mention that in the interview.
Absolutely.
Something like, I just went to this amazing workshop on the latest planer techniques.
And I can't wait to use them on the job. It shows you're engaged, you're interested.
Now, the career guide doesn't shy away from the tough stuff either.
No, it's honest.
It talks about how the work can be demanding, maybe even hazardous,
Right.
and sometimes repetitive.
It can be.
But you know what? That's actually a good thing to address in the interview.
It is.
It shows you're not afraid of hard work.
You know what you're getting into.
Exactly. You could say, I understand this job requires a lot of physical effort, and that safety is crucial. I'm committed to following all the rules, and I'm confident I can handle the demands.
That's perfect.
Shows you've done your research.
And speaking of safety, the guide really emphasizes that.
Oh, yeah. Safety first,
Oh,
personal protective equipment,
lockout, tagout procedures,
keeping your work area clean.
all those things.
All important.
All super important to mention in the interview.
Yeah, and if you have any safety certifications.
Oh, definitely bring those up.
Yeah, show them you're qualified.
And don't forget that section on troubleshooting in the career guide.
That's a gold mine.
It is. Because machines, they don't always work perfectly. Right. You gotta know what to do.
So you can talk about specific techniques you've learned.
Yeah, like root cause analysis.
Or looking things up in the manual.
Exactly.
And most importantly,
Staying calm.
when things go wrong.
That's a big one. The interviewer wants to know you can handle the pressure.
Okay, we've covered a lot with the career guide.
We have.
Hopefully you're starting to see how it can really boost your interview game.
I hope so.
But there's one more tool we got to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
RoleCatcher's AI.
This is where technology meets interview prep.
It's like magic.
It's pretty amazing.
It can analyze job descriptions, help you tailor your answers.
Even give you feedback on your practice sessions.
It's like having a personal coach.
Right in your pocket.
Now, I know some people might be thinking AI, that sounds kind of scary.
Yeah.
But it's really not.
It's super easy to use.
Super helpful.
Remember how we talked about making your answers fit each specific job? That's what RoleCatcher's AI does. It looks at the job description, figures out what skills they're looking for,
And then it gives you suggestions.
on how to make your answers even better.
Highlights where you can really make yourself shine.
Yes.
Like a secret weapon.
And it even lets you practice with video.
Oh, that's cool.
You record yourself answering interview questions, and it gives you feedback on how you're doing.
Your body language, everything.
Everything.
Like a virtual mirror.
To help you perfect your performance.
And the best part is, RoleCatcher's AI is always learning.
Always getting smarter.
It's using a massive database of interview stuff
Questions, answers, best practices.
to give you the most relevant and helpful advice.
It's like having a whole team of interview experts in your corner.
So when you combine the career guide insights with RoleCatcher's AI,
You're unstoppable.
you're setting yourself up for success.
Big time.
Okay, we've covered so much ground today. All those interview questions, the tips from the career guide, and then that amazing RoleCatcher AI. You must be feeling a lot more prepared now, right?
Yeah, you should be. You've put in the work, learned a ton. Now it's all about showing them who you are, what you can do.
Exactly. Walk into that interview with confidence. You got this. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with something to think about. We talked about how technology is changing things in manufacturing. Automation, robots, all that. So where does that leave the human metal planer operator in the future? What do you think?
That's a great question. It's something to really consider, you know? It's not about being replaced by robots. It's more like, how will the job change? How will people adapt?
Right. Maybe it'll become more about programming those machines, overseeing them, making sure they're running right, producing good parts.
Exactly. Or maybe there'll be even more demand for those highly skilled operators who can handle the really complex jobs, the ones robots can't quite do yet.
So as you're starting out on this career path, keep an eye on what's happening in the industry. Keep learning, stay curious, be ready to adapt. It's an exciting time to be in manufacturing.
It is. And don't forget, let your passion show in the interview. Let them see how much you enjoy working with metal, creating those precise parts, being a part of making things.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
So go out there and ace that interview. We're rooting for you.
Best of luck. And remember, we're always here to help you on your journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.